Hey, welcome back to my channel, Duct Tape Mechanic, and to another episode of my series, Free on Facebook, a series of videos in which I find things for free and I show you how to repair them, repurpose them, or reuse them in another manner. In this video, I got this Whirlpool Cabrio washing machine that's having spin issues. So if you find this video to be helpful, make sure you subscribe to my channel for more DIY and tinkering videos. So here's the washing machine in question. It's a Whirlpool Cabrio type of machine. I can show you the exact model number, but this will pretty much apply to any sort of Whirlpool Cabrio washing machine. And what the previous owner said was about 80% of the time they would set it to normal wash and it wouldn't spin during the spin cycle. So what they would have to do is they'd have to wait for it to finish, then they would come to drain and spin, and then hit start again, then they would spin. Now, this video is also going to be applicable to if your washing machine's not spinning at all, no matter what you're doing. Even if you go to drain and spin, it won't spin. So it'll apply to that as well, because this is a fairly common issue amongst these type of machines. So let's get to it. So oftentimes, the spin issues on this sort of washing machine will be caused by a crack in the stator of the motor. So the motor is comprised of two parts, a rotor and a stator. And it's often the stator can develop cracks, and we'll inspect that to see if that's what's going on here. To do that, we're going to have to push the washing machine on its backside. So we got the washing machine on its back. We can see that it's got this big circular part right here, and that's the rotor part of the motor. So what we're going to have to do first is undo this bolt right here to remove the rotor. Then we can examine the stator from there. So to undo this bolt right here, I'm using a T40 driver. I believe a hex key would probably also work. You want to just keep undoing it until it kind of comes out by itself. It is magnetic, so you may have to apply a little bit of force to get it off. As you can see, it's kind of moving back already. Just want to keep turning this until it stops moving back. That's probably good. We can probably pull it off now. A little bit of force and there it goes. Right, so let's take a look at our stator, and as I predicted, there's a large crack right there, and I believe there's another one right here as well. Yes, so that's definitely going to be causing this issue. So in this video, I'm also going to go ahead and swap out the RPM sensor. But honestly, if you open this up and you see that your stator has cracks in it, I would replace that first. Then if your issues persist, then I would replace the RPM sensor. I'm just going to replace it because I have both of these parts on hand and I don't want to go back in and have to come back later and do it. But if you had to buy these parts, then it's a whole other story. But yeah, definitely replace the part that's physically, visibly broken. So we'll do that next. To do that, actually, we're going to have to undo these 4 bolts right here, and before we do that, we can just kind of get a needle nose plier and loosen the harness on the RPM sensor as well, so it doesn't get in our way. Or 4 5/16 inch bolts that you have to take off, and that should loosen up the stator. Alright, let the bolts off. First came off this little metal plate right here. It's got squared holes right here and slots that it just goes into right here. And we're gonna just wheel this out, see if it comes off. There it goes. You want to be careful because the electrical connectors are still attached. So what we'll do is first we'll unplug the RPM sensor right here, and then we'll just unplug the motor after that. There we go. I'm just going to take it off like so. And there's the stator, and there's its glorious cracks. Oh yeah, it's got another one on this side as well. So yeah, that's about 85 to 90% sure that this is causing our spin issues. Alright, so I have to retract what I said about the RPM sensors. I could not find the one that went with this one, so I'm just going to go ahead and just replace the stator. As I said, this is most likely going to resolve the issue in 80 to 90% of the spin issues with this machine. So if you find that your stator is cracked, what you have to do is you have to remove the old RPM sensor off of the old one and just attach it to your replacement one. I thought I had left this in one unit where I had the RPM sensor on here, but apparently not, so can't find it now. So we're just going to be reusing this old one. So if you look over here on the RPM sensor, you'll see an arrow on the sensor and an arrow on the stator, and then you should see that it's kind of clipped on, one right here and another one right here. So it's just me undoing those clips, and that should take it off of the stator. Then we'll just be clipping it back on by matching up the arrows to the other replacement stator. Comes off rather easily. So now what we're going to be doing is just matching up this arrow here with this arrow right there, and then just clipping it into place. So something like this. So the arrows are matched up and it's clipped into place back here. To install this, I'm going to plug in the RPM sensor, then the motor wires, then go ahead and bolt it back up. So we got the stator on there. It can be a little bit tricky, but to just make sure you put the metal pieces on the front and on the back side, and this plastic piece can be kind of in the way a little bit, but the way you want to orient that is so that the wire harness can have a little bit of space right there for that wire harness retainer to go through. Okay, so once that's on there, we're just going to be slapping on the rotor. And when we do that, it's going to be it's a fairly strong magnet, so once we get it closer there, you should just kind of suck it in right there, and we'll just bolt up that nut and see if it fixes our issue. Right, so unfortunately I can't really show you this thing spinning because there's no real good way to bypass the lid lock as I typically do my videos. But anyways, if this video helped you fix your washer's spin issues, make sure you hit the thumbs up sign.